Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor with wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge. I review all of the industry stories from the past week and pick out the 5 most important ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. Adding fuel to the fire, Ali Kawar, acting assistant EBSA secretary, reached out to Fidelity about their plans to offer their 20 million participants access to digital assets. Conversation to be scheduled. Ali voiced grave concerns about crypto's volatility, valuation methodology, and lack of regulatory oversight. Currency has lost 40% of value since November of 2021. Fidelity is capping participants' use at 20%. Fidelity is committed overall as a corporation company to digital asset class, unlike, for example, Vanguard. The DOL's compliance assistant release is not a ban, just a warning, with many asking whether the DOL has overreached and what is their role when it comes to investments. With the war for talent raging, some argue that crypto could be a powerful recruiting and retention tool for younger workers especially. But regardless, plans must conduct their own due diligence on investments, and remember that record keepers are not fiduciaries. Second story is that news has surfaced that MassMutual will be moving their $3.8 billion 401k plan for their 25,000 participants from Empower, the company they sold their record-keeping division to Fidelity, their chief rival, where many Empower senior executives had worked. While all plans should go through an extensive due diligence process when their record keeper is acquired, it is certainly not a good look, especially when many thought that Empower had the inside track to retain the MassMutual plan. In fact, it's surprising that more plan sponsors don't change after an acquisition, with the industry estimate at 10% moving, although I think that actually seems pretty high. Now the question is that Prudential, what they will do with their plan, their deal is to sell their record-keeping division, closed recently, with a 24-month transition period planned. Third story is in a recent column that got over 4,000 views on LinkedIn. I asked whether Fintechs could infiltrate the 401k market, which has relatively slow adoption of new technology compared to the wealth management industry. With product innovation stymied by risk managers, lawyers, and lobbyists, along with 1990 record-keeping technology and 200 plus lawsuits in the last 2 years, Fintechs could take a backdoor to reach advisors and participants like Pantera, or create a new platform like Vestwell. To reach the almost 100 million participants that cannot afford or do not want traditional advice, the DC industry needs to get creative, taking a clue from the wealth management industry, especially around technology. And speaking of technology, wealth management, Informa's May 31st through June 3rd WealthTech Conference, the leading tech event for the industry, will highlight some fintechs looking to serve the DC market, including Pantera, which used to be FIEX, and Betterment. It's a good window into what's coming, maybe, to DC plans. For example, Schwab's new app allows advisors to digitally onboard and keep track of clients with alerts. Seems like there's some crossover there. And Alts Access is a matchmaking tool for alternative assets, sure to be available at some point in DC plans. And to that point, wealthmanagement.com's Wealthy Awards, which will be held in New York City in September 8th, has extended nominations to new categories for companies that serve RPAs, including record keepers, broker-dealers, aggregators, and DCIOs, along with Fintechs. So be sure to nominate yourself for the wealthies. And finally, highlighting the war for talent driven by the Great Resignation, with 47 million and counting resigning, American Funds wrote a column detailing how RPAs can leverage the labor shortage to help plan sponsors and increase the value to them and participants. 46% of small businesses are indicating a labor shortage. 51% of new hires said that the retirement plan was a key factor in their decision to join their current company. And American Funds is recommending tailored communication, loosening eligibility requirements, especially for part-time workers, and increasing or maybe optimizing the company match. It's the key here, and what we learned from a Schwab survey recently, is that people are not just interested in the plan features and educating about the plan features. They want, what are the benefits and how can it help me with outcomes, and complementary features like student loans and credit card debt are really much more popular. The war for talent has moved DC plans from a tactical to a strategic benefit, and RPAs have moved from the waiting room to the boardroom, but not if they focus solely on the triple Fs: fees, funds, and fiduciary. So those were the 5 most interesting stories that I saw from last week. Let me know if I missed anything or you want to comment. I've listed 5 additional articles and stories worth reviewing on that. So look forward to speaking with you next week on 401k Real Talk, and look forward to your comments.